Previously on Only Frames in the Pairs Cup, the players competed individually to secure points for their team. It's all about making your way into the final four, the semi-finals, where the winning team will be crowned eventually. Now we've seen that a lot of these players can compete individually. Joe and Steve have been towards the top in all of their games so far, but how will they work in their pairs? Will they be a well-oiled machine, or will there become a blame culture where you're looking to blame your partner when things aren't going as they should? Steve has been pulling off trick shots galore, and Joe's going to need to pull a rabbit out the hat here if he's going to set a good time with Lou the dog. The idea is to pot all of your colours as quickly as you can, bringing your partner in crime to the table, and then they need to pot theirs. The combined time for both of the players to pot all their balls is the time you will take forward, and the idea is to finish as quickly as possible, and we all know Lou the dog loves to finish quickly. Or so I read on the back of the toilet door. Now that's good from Joe, about 28 seconds from him to pot all 6 of his balls. And I'll tell you now, if Lou does it in double that time, I will be amazed. So 56 plus 28, 1 minute 24. I'm telling you, it will be over that. Because this guy's an absolute haddock, but a great guy. And we all love him on this channel. Did he ever complete his road to lineup? I wonder, that's kind of disappeared. I'll have to ask him when I see him. We now tick over the minute and he's still got 4 balls remaining. This is abysmal. He's blasting them, they're rattling. His head has gone. It's fallen off. It's wobbling all over the place. This guy has lost composure, but that's a pretty good shot. And all of a sudden they are all there. He sinks out one to the middle, but he's got a terrible cue ball. This is going to go flying, no doubt. What the heck is going on? He's rolled one in, but he's waiting for the cue ball to finish. Now just the red to the middle pocket, and they set a marker to beat of 1 minute 30 as Noel and his playing partner, who I believe is Craig, are about to take on this challenge as we go to a double screen. Do you not think I've got enough to do without having to commentate on 2 speed games at the same time? Who is editing this? You're an idiot. You're a clown. You are an absolute wally. As Chris is going round like sugar, he's galloping. He wishes he was hung like a horse, let alone runs like one. He is leaving Noel for dead so far in this challenge. He's already potted 4, but now Noel's potted 4 as well. But Chris has got himself a great angle to split up these reds as he plays into him, but he misses the pot. The reds go everywhere and the yellow tucks itself away. Noel remains on the 1 yellow, but he has still got all of them reds tightly packed together. Is he going to leave them for his opponent or his playing partner to split up? Who knows, as Craig comes to the table, and he's going to bash the living granny out of these, I'm sure. But he was unable to sink one, as Scott is now at the table, the man who's dressed in purple, looking like that thing from McDonald's. I can't remember what it's called. It's Gremlin or something like that. I can't think. Let us know in the comments what that purple thing is called. Maybe it's Gengar from Pokemon. And much like Gengar, Scott was deserted as a child because he looks like a hobo. Look at him. He's giving it the big one just because he's potted 6 balls. What an absolute wally. We can't stand Scott on this channel. Now we can, really. We absolutely adore him. I'd just like to give him some grief. And Craig is still playing. He's up to 1 minute 41. This could be an hour. This could be longer than the video. We're going to need to put a timer. Can Gary actually complete his set and his partner complete theirs by the time that Craig finishes his? This could be a good bet, and I'm saying it's even money from what I've seen so far today. But that claim by me has all of a sudden piqued my interest in this. I'd lost interest in what Craig was up to, but now I'm interested to see if 2 pairs can complete in the time that Niall and Craig complete once. This will be sporting masterclass. This will be the greatest thing ever witnessed. But Gary struggling to pot his last yellow. He has got himself in a right pickle as Craig remains on 4 and the clock ticks over to 2 minutes 33 seconds as Mark comes to the table and he's reeling in Craig. He's on 6 red while Craig remains on 4. We often say it on here, we are the home of below average 8 ball. But we've under-delivered. We can't even deliver that as Craig finally pots the ball and he's down to 3, but so is Mark. Who is going to win this? It's a battle. It's a race within a race when it should be a no contest. This shouldn't even count, but I want to see who's going to pot their last 3 reds first. Mark's struggling now. Maybe he's caught the Craigitis from watching Craig on the split screen. Who knows? Mark is clearly going to win from here. He's got one over the hole. He's going to double this one. Try and double it into the middle. Surely no. He tried to blast it down to that bottom. He flukes it down to the bottom right and he sinks that one over the top right and Craig is still on 3. Are we going to get 3 lots of tables complete in the time that Craig completes 1? Why are we still showing this? 3 minutes 35 seconds to pot 12 balls. I can't do this anymore. Game's gone. The game is absolutely gone. Lee could pot his 6 in the time that Craig's potted. No, finally Craig pots one. Go on, my son, Craig. You are a legend. What a shot from Craig. Is Lee going to complete first or is Craig? Craig now surely is going to dispatch Lee. He can play the plant. Play the plant, man. Lee's managed to pot them all as well, but he misses a pack for his opponent and Craig is still going. He did make the plant and surely now this is going to be over. Can he do it in under 4 minutes and 30 seconds? This is the hardest commentary I've ever done. 4 minutes 21. Now let us know in the comments what you think you could do in 4 minutes 21. I mean, some people can run a mile in that time. I'm trying to think, what could I do in 4 minutes? Well, I'll tell you what I could do about 4 times in 4 minutes 21. What can I do in 4 minutes? You could probably make a meal. You could make like an omelette in 4.5 minutes, surely. And Craig, you potted 12 balls. That is abysmal. Once again, let us know what you could do in 4 minutes 21 seconds. Let us know in the comments on why you're there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff. Your interactions do mean the world to us. But we should go back to the pool as Steve remains on 2 red still going. And New Scott is down to 1 red. He's making light work of it compared to Steve, who appears to be having a tough day at the office in this challenge. He is down to 1 ball though, and if he gets in under 2 minutes, it's probably good enough for the top 4 as we are stinking at these kind of challenges. Now, often people think I come into these commentaries not having thought about a single joke, a single talking point. I'm right loads down, but then stuff like this happens. How do I then deliver a joke? How do I deliver a piece of wisdom when we've got stuff like this going on? New Scott manages to finish, bringing Darren to the table. There's a teapot down at the bottom right because Scott in his commentary is forever calling Darren a teapot. He calls him Miss Potts from Beauty and the Beast. It's tough. I wouldn't do that to Darren. He's a great guy. He's a West Ham fan. He's going through enough as it is at the moment. You don't need to give him any more grief than he's already getting. So far, our quickest time has been Chris and Scott with 1 minute 16, and Joe managed to drag Lou the dog to 1.5 minutes. That is some feat in itself, although Joe did only take like 27 seconds and Louis took over 1 minute. In third, we have Mark and Gary on 1 minute 53, Lee and Steve on 2 minutes 11, and Noel and Craig took longer than it took the Titanic to sink. Darren's looking to pot that one to the middle, and these guys are going to go into 5th place. He'll be disappointed with that, and that yellow still remains up. This is tough, man. Least it should be over now. 2 minutes 30 on the clock, I'm sure. 2 minutes 28 and 97 seconds. Bringing myself and Brad to the table. And can I do better than what we have just witnessed? Now, may I immediately start with a disclaimer. I've just come back from shoulder surgery. As you all know, I'm on a sabbatical this year. I haven't picked up a cue. I've had heart surgery. My rabbit died. I'm no good at playing when the temperature outside is below 20 degrees. I pulled a muscle in my leg this day and I forgot to put in my contact lenses. So all that, bear that in mind, as I'm already up to 30 seconds. I've given Lou the dog grief for taking a minute, but that's a great shot from me. And surely now this is going to be over. I'm even going to develop some for my partner. Surely that's a great pot from me. And here comes the development shot. This is going to be nailed into that bottom. Yeah, no, that was intentional, I can assure you. Right, come off this cushion, pop that into the middle. Oh, man, I've taken longer to Lou the dog. I'm not going to live this down as I sink a cue ball. I'm fuming. That's £1 for charity. I can't afford that. I'm going to set up a GoFundMe to help pay for all the fouls that I made on this day. Come on, Brad, please deliver, my friend. Get us down below 1 minute 53. Make us finish third. This is going to need to take Brad his best ever table visit to get us to third place. I've let him down, but I'm hoping that he can get me out of a spot of bother. And he is flying round like a whippet up a drain pipe, like a tramp on chips. He is whizzing round the table, but he's unable to pop that one to the top right. Send this one down to the bottom left. Play it dead weight. He's absolutely blasted it, and we're going to come in third. What the? You idiot! Sink it quick, man. Quick, you got 5 seconds. Yes, Brad. 1 minute 49 gets us into third place. Brad has delivered against the odds like Phil Collins. Come on! And he gets us 7 points as we move on to the next and final challenge. Now, this next challenge is one of my favourites. We have a point scoring system. Every time you pot a purple, you get 3 points. Every time you pot a pink, you get 2 points. And every time you pot a yellow, just a single point. And you get 1 minute's alternate shots to get as many points as you can. As Chris and Scott at the top of the leaderboard, they are going first. They're going to set the benchmark and try and secure themselves a place in the top 4. Now, let's be pretty honest, these two are pretty safe, and we're probably in a shootout between myself and Brad and Mark and Gary. We're 5 points behind them, but if any challenge you can make those 5 points up, it will be this one. And I know for sure, myself and Brad, we're designed for this challenge. Some of you may have seen this in our short form content. Have you ever tried this game yourselves? And if so, how have you got on? Let us know, as always, in the comments. Give us a benchmark, something that we need to aim for. Is it easier to do it in pairs, for instance, or could you do better by yourselves? It looks like Scott and Chris are going to end up on 23 points, and that, no doubt, will be plenty to see them through into the final, as they have 59 points. And let's face it, no one is going to hunt that down, as Craig starts off the way his whole day has gone. He's miscued it. He couldn't even hit 21 balls on the table properly, but Noel, giving them a smack, has managed to sink one, if nothing else. They're already on 6. It's not bad from these two. They've pretty much doubled their points total from today. They're actually on 6 points. I didn't even know that till I double checked it after. I'm calling things that have already come in, and they've managed to get up to 8 points, now 11, and they still got 25 seconds to go. They could make their score somewhat respectable today and go above myself and Brad, even if it's only for the time being until we come to the table. Obviously, I think the idea of this is to try and get on those purples, only really try and pot them. As a worst case scenario, take the pinks, but don't worry about the yellows unless you're playing for position only. They've got a second. Can they get one on the buzzer? They was unable to do so. They've got 14 points. They're up to 20, and they're currently in 5th, but they won't be featuring in the final as Scott and Darren now look to take on the 21 ball challenge. Now, we all know that one of the greatest songs of all time was 21 Seconds by the So Solid Crew. 21 seconds, 21 seconds, every lyrical do, every lyrical say, every lyrical wrote, every lyrical read. Yes, I am delivering as rap as well as great commentary. There's a foul there from Darren. He looks appalled that it's been called on him, and he has -1 point for that indiscretion that he has created. But they've quickly moved to 11, and now to 14 if that one drops. It was unable to drop, but Scott points it. Darren, come and get those 3 points for me, would you, my man? Give me a 3-pointer like LeBron James. As Scott tries to sink a 2-pointer down to the bottom left. They've still got 9 points sat there just in purples as Darren manages to sink one of them, and he's even managed to leave that one down to the bottom right for another 3-pointer. This is a pretty good attempt from these two, but the time is up. They managed to get 17. That won't be enough, and Darren and Scott, like Noel and Craig, are now eliminated and will not be featuring in the final as Lou the Dog and Joe come to the table. And what score can they set the rest of us? Now, you would assume that Lou the Dog and Joe are pretty safe to make the top 4. They probably only need about 15, 20 points and they are going to be nailed. But there's 2 problems. In sport, anything can happen. And when the Lou the Dog is at the table and he's pushing purple safe, anything can certainly happen. Joe's doing his best to try and leave him on, but that one does not cut to the middle. And Lou the Dog wastes 10 seconds just to roll a 3-pointer in. Are they going to have enough? They're up to 7, now to 10. Surely they've probably done just about enough with 25 seconds, and that, I'm sure, has nailed it. Lou the Dog sinking a lovely one down to the bottom left, but Joe can't sink one, and he points to the 3 points. They've got a good strategy in place. They're just trying to take out the big boys to ensure that they're going to make the final. They're now up to 17, and I can't remember what the best score so far is. I think that was Chris and Scott, about 27. It doesn't look like they're going to trouble that as Joe sinks one on the buzzer to get them 19 and to pretty much all but guarantee them a place in the final as Mark and Gary, one of the teams on the cusp of making it themselves, come to the table. Now, as these 2 players come to the table, they've got a 5-point buffer on myself and Brad, and they've started by adding 6 points straight away to that. They're 11 ahead of us, make that 12. This is going to be a real mountain to climb for myself and Brad. When we get to the table, this looked like the best option for us to try and make it, but these 2 are delivering when it matters most. But are they starting to fall apart? Mark manages to sink one, but all the pinks are over on the cushions. None of these really pot, and all of a sudden it's a pretty tricky table. Gary manages to get another 2-pointer. Can Mark follow that up with another one? Yes, he can. These guys are on 14 with 14 seconds to go. But all of a sudden, they look in a world of trouble. Are any of these going to go in? That cue ball needs to stop moving before Gary can hit one. They're only on 14. That's on the buzzer, and he manages to get 2 more to make it 16. But will that be enough? That is an interesting score. 16. Brad and Tom need 21 to try and at least force a playoff as Steve and Lee come to the table, and they are now the team in real problems, but they do have an 11-point buffer on us, and surely that's too many for us 2 to try and make up as they're already on 3 points with 40 seconds to go. With each second ticking by though, and the lack of pots for these 2, all of a sudden, we're getting interest here for Tom and Brad. Lee manages to take their score up to 5, but they've already done over half their time. Surely now they're going to get a 3-pointer to the middle though, and that'll be their first so far today. Takes them up to 8 with a total score of only 37. They remain on 37, and that's only 19 above myself and Brad. They're going to need a few more than that. I fancy myself and Brad to make at least 20 odd. We're 6 seconds to go, and it's all gone to pot as Steve manages to fluke one. Will that be enough to make them into the final? What do they finish up on? They've just scored 10 there, and Lee and Steve had 29. They've only got to 39. There's a tie. Myself and Brad have a real opportunity. Can we deliver? We need 22 points to advance. Come on. What do you think? Before you watch this, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are myself and Brad gonna deliver here? I certainly hope we are. That's for sure. Come on. Now it feels like the moment myself and Brad have been waiting for. We forever mocked on the channel, we're made fun of, and that's not a good start though, but it feels like we're boiling up to something. Nice 2-pointer there from Brad, followed up by a 3-pointer from me, and we are in the middle of the table. We're up to 8, we need 22, we need 14 more from somewhere as I will nudge one towards a hole. Luckily over that bottom left hand corner we've got quite a few points just sat there ready to go. I sink a 2-pointer, but I'm hitting it too hard. It's all about stunning the cue ball, just keeping it there so your partner can come to the table and just roll him in like Brad's done nicely there. We're up to 16. We need 22. We need 6 more. There's 2 of them we need. Why are you in the way on the other table as I find 2 more? Can Brad do it here? No, that was to get us through. Surely I can sink this one to the bottom left, which I do nicely, but where's the cue ball? That's a -1 as the buzzer goes. We were on 22. Do we lose one there? We're up to 14. Come on! And now we have a playoff between Mark and Gary to find out who is going to be in out of Mark and Gary and Steve and Lee. We've got ourselves a 6-ball shootout. Who is going to record the quickest time? Let's find out. Now, what an ending we had to our last match, and will this 6-ball shootout produce the same? You all know the rules. Pop the 6 balls as quick as you can. It's alternate shots because we're playing Scotch pairs today. Now, Gary's got in the way of his playing partner, Mark, and Mark is flying round there. I hope he ain't claiming Pip because they'll want it back for the old boy if he's doing that. Gary managed to sink it, and that's a respectable time of 29.6. Can Lee and Steve compete with that? They are going to need to go some. It looked like Mark and Gary were struggling, but they set a pretty good time. Lee's gone for the smacking tactic. A lot of people just bump into them and try and keep them all close together. What do you think is a better option when you take off this challenge? They're going to need to be potting them with every shot. They can't afford to be missing them like Steve's just done. Lee pots again for the 2nd time in a row, but can Steve find his potting form like he produced earlier within these videos? He sinks one nicely, but they've still got 3 to go and they've only got 5 seconds. It looks like it's over. We're up to 28. We're up to 29. Steve and Lee will be going out. They've competed well throughout the day, but when it comes down to the speed challenges, they just weren't quick enough. Lee is frustrated, and there's another £1 for charity, and that's what we like. And we have ourselves our final 4, the Fab 4. Who is going to be crowned our champion of the Pairs Cup? Come back to find out.